What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Midday with Shay McCray. And of course, I know you guys watch TV1 and ATL Homicide and all that not so good stuff. You know, I was gonna say good stuff, but we don't really want to see that stuff. Well, guess what? The hosts are here. I would like to welcome to the show Vincent Velasquez and David Quinn. How are you?
Very good. Appreciate you for having us.
Thanks
so
for having us. Like,
we're corny too.
You're corny too?
We can be very corny.
I mean, you gotta be corny to like really like do the detective work on some of the little small stuff, the little small things that goes on TV, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's a lot of work.
Oh, it's a lot of work, and you're working while you're sleeping, so it never ends.
You wake up with like, oh, that's why that did that, right?
Sometimes you wake up 3 o'clock in the morning, you gotta go out. You gotta go deal with it.
Really?
Because it hits you.
Wow. So let's talk about it, okay? You guys been in the police force for a very long time, which is amazing to me because you both look great, you know.
Thank you.
How long for you?
So we're both retired.
Yep.
So we retired. I did 22 years.
22.
My partner did 33 years. So I've been retired since 2017. So 5 years. Great career. I've been here in Atlanta longer than I was a cop. I started at Delta Airlines, actually. I was a mechanic.
Really?
To fix airplanes, yeah.
Okay.
Then I know people think like, the hell are you doing fixing a plane, right?
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I hated my
that
job.
That sound like engineer. You gotta go. You say, I was an engineer for Delta.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you do that.
That's okay. No, it's all good. It was a good job, but I just didn't like what I did. So, been retired since, and we both have done many other things since we retired. Consulting, and then, you know, our show, obviously we're in season 4. So we're truly amazed that we've gone that far, blessed and thankful that we're still, you know, about to bring another 20 episodes to our viewers.
Wow.
You get a thumbnail sketch of what we were doing every day together for like 17 years as partners, and we were joined at the hip. So this is our voice, we're the narrators, and then they have these young actors that come in and they play us in our 30s. They kind of give the viewer the full feel of what's going on. It's a beautiful way, it's a kiss on the cheek to the city of Atlanta. It's a labor of love, and we've enjoyed it. It's like we did it when we were working together.
And these are real crimes.
These are cases,
right?
These are cases that me and him worked as partners since we started. We were in Homicide 17 years together. And we joke about that because we've said this before. We've been together than some marriages have lasted. And, you know, and with anything, it's a respect that he and I have had since we met each other. We work well together. His skill set is different than mine. There's some things that I just don't grasp well. He gets it. There's some things that I'm a little bit better at than he is. And there's no ego. There's no ego. And there's power and there's comfort in being vulnerable and being wrong and admitting when you're wrong. It's not ego. There's no place for ego in Homicide. And I think he and I, it resonates with us. It resonates in the show. People see it and they see, what you see it right now is us in real life. You see it on the show.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did for 17 years together.
So, okay, so even though there are some actors that's acting this stuff out, right? These are real crimes that you have solved.
Yes.
Do you have to go get like permission to air these stories, or it's just kind of you change the name if you say no or whatever?
Well,
because these are some big crimes too.
That's true, but the way it usually works is we try to incorporate the families in the story.
Okay.
In season 1, we had family members sitting with us in studio. So our respect goes to them because they become our family. As soon as we go to that living room and give the worst news that mother or father's gonna get for the rest of their life.
Yeah, you're talking about the victims, right?
Absolutely. We're coming with the worst news ever. We're very gentle with how we portray these stories. We don't just come out and tell everything. And sometimes we do change names.
Yeah.
If we don't get their permission.
Do you add a little bit to it, twist, or
Nah,
maybe how?
we
gotta keep it truthful.
We keep it real. You
so
know,
it's 100%.
100%.
It's not reality TV.
No embellishment.
It's true crime, and that's what they call it.
Yeah.
True crime means a crime happened, and we're telling a truthful, basically recollection of what happened. And I think the difference is, as you can imagine, in any major city, a lot of victims are people who live on the fringes, people who are disenfranchised, people who are addicted to drugs and mental illness, and they have been disconnected from their family. They may be homeless. Those are the people that we drive by every day and we don't think twice about. But those are a lot of the victims that we dealt with. So we treat them, and what we like to do, and we did this in real life, is we look at them as the human beings that they were, not a crackhead, not a homeless person.
Absolutely.
And we portray that. The people see that on the show, that even though, you were addicted to drugs, at some point, you would sit in somebody's living room at Christmas opening presents as a kid. You were graduating from high school, and then somewhere along the way, you may have lost your way.
Absolutely.
You're still a person.
Still a person.
Still a person.
Do you ever have the accuser's family on the show or involved or some way of telling the story?
I think we give tremendous respect to the accused family because when we carried ourselves, when it was time to go to trial, we'd be out in that courthouse getting ready to go in, and nobody wins in this situation.
Nobody.
The suspect's family or the dearly departed. So we've been known to hug families of the shooter, on countless occasions because unfortunately we've seen those mamas, just like we've seen the victim's mom. They have other children, other loved ones that get killed. You got to keep that thing open. Murder is an honest business.
Yeah.
There ain't no sides in this thing. So we give just as much love, respectfully to the family of the accused.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Like you say, you've been doing this for a very long time. What's the most heartbreaking story that you ever had to break?
I mean, he and I have had different cases that affected us differently. I know which case is his case. His case is literally memorialized on his skin. I'll let him tell you about that. I had a case that recently we were able to solve after over 20 plus years.
Wow.
A case that I picked up as a cold case.
You wouldn't let go,
and even in retirement worked it, and we were recently able to close this case through science and DNA. And it was a case of a 14-year-old girl killed on her way to school, raped and murdered in 1995. So that case was special to me because I connected with her mother, and to this day, her mother and I are, we joke and call ourselves sister brother because we've had a roller coaster of a relationship because as a lead detective, families depend on you.
Absolutely.
And they put a lot of pressure on you because that's not the only case you're working, right? And many times it's not great news you're giving them. And imagine a mother going 20 plus years and not having answers, and you're the only conduit she's got. So that was my case.
Yeah.
I'll let him talk about his own.
Mine, it was a 15-year-old young brother, young black male, who went missing for almost a decade. No law enforcement in the state of Georgia even looked for this kid. Nobody looked for him. They just assumed he ran away. When I got this case, there was only a skull. That's all that was found in the woods by a surveyor. And from that skull, launched and opened up, this secret that people have been sitting on for a decade. And I was able to bring that case in, charge the shooter, bring in the witnesses, and we did it like Cain killed Abel. It wasn't no forensics. Only forensics was we just maintained and showed that skull contained the DNA of his maternal grandmother. And then the case just went into court and it did itself. So when I retired, I got that skull of that little boy with a hole in it the size of a golf ball tattooed on my shoulder because that, to me, at the end of my career, that just made everything happen for me. We gave that child's family a funeral 10 years later.
Wow.
And so I carry him with me every day.
Wow.
Indeed,
These are touching. This is very touching. Like I say, it got to be, they say don't get personal, right?
Too
but
late.
how can't you? I mean,
you have to put
have
it.
to.
You can't be passionate about anything unless you let it get personal.
Yeah.
But you can't let it get personal to the point where it affects your personal life because we all have, he's married, I'm not, but I've raised my son. My son's an adult now, and even friends that depend on you for support on other things, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to be there for people when you're holding all this weight and you're thinking about this case because while you're still working this case that's open, you're back up in the rotation.
Yeah.
We're catching a new case.
Yeah.
So, and then now we got a new family we got to deal with. So imagine having 2 days off, if you're lucky to get 2 days off, right?
Right.
And you attend your son's Cub Scout meeting. He was a pack leader, or my son's softball game, and you're sitting there trying to watch this and be supportive, but in your mind you're like, damn, wait a minute, did I turn in those bullets? What about the blood on the shirt?
Wow.
Oh, good job, son. Good job. Wow. But your mind is never turning off. But you can't let it get to the point where it affects you. We were lucky. Like there's guys that have been ladies who have gone to homicide, and we can see it. a year, 2 years in, we could see that stress.
It ate 'em
and
up.
we're like, they ain't gonna be here long.
Great. You could tell, like you did your job
Balance.
wholeheartedly, but you didn't let it get to you.
That's right.
Why did you retire? Because I do see the passion. I do see when you the passion in finding and the accuser or accused, just closing that case,
So my journey is a little different. He did more time than I did. He retired, came back, retired again.
Okay.
Like he couldn't let it go. I've always been on the business side of things. So opportunities have always been something that I've always been dipping my hand into other business ventures, even while I was a detective. So at 22 years in, I saw opportunities in the business side of the world that can propel me into a different direction. So I took that leap, and again, you got to know when to get out. Even though we sit here and we say, hey, we're at the Cub Scout meeting or the softball match, and we're cheering our kids on, and it doesn't affect us. After 17 years in homicide, it's going to affect you. So if you see an exit, it's time to go. Instead of staying on 285 and doing circles all day long, right?
Yeah.
Because eventually you're going to be sick of seeing the same thing over and over.
You got to know when to tap out.
And that's exactly right.
You got to know when to
Is
tap
there a
out.
case that you have not yet closed yet that still bothers you to this day?
So in your career, whether it was assigned to you or you just helped someone else, there'll be hundreds out there that, but there's certain ones that stick to you. I had one from a little girl in 1972 that was killed in our city, just traveling through on the way to Disney World. I opened up this file my last year on the department when I was almost done. And this little girl, 9 years old, sucked me into those pages. And I worked that case in my mind till this day, wondering what was going on in 1971, 72, what was happening then.
Yeah.
And she'll always be with me. We've even worked it together.
We've worked it together.
We share, we commiserate on this.
And you still work
because if you're working murder, that's the commandment in the Bible, the one, that's the one that shakes everybody up. You can't go in here like it's a job. You've got to be all in. And so again, you get back to that tapping out. You got to know when it's time for you to step off and say, I got to move on. I got to love my life now. I'm glad that I don't have to go in 3 o'clock in the morning delivering the worst news a family's ever going to hear in their life.
Yeah. So now you guys are on a show telling your story, okay? Of course, times were different back then. They have different tests and different technology now that helps you close the case or maybe gather evidence, to help you out with the case. Back then, it wasn't that easy.
Listen, when we
it wasn't that easy,
when
right?
we started, we had to type our warrants up with typewriters.
Oh my goodness.
So we started, and we went to homicide in November. We got promoted at the same time and went to homicide immediately together as partners. We didn't know we were going to be partners until we got there. That was November of 2000. So as technology, and you think about cell phone technology in 2000 compared to today.
I know.
So as we became the veterans in the unit, and we started getting these young detectives in, men and women who are more in tune with technology.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, again, like the old heads when we got there, stubborn. They don't want to learn new stuff, right?
Yeah.
We were like, yo, man,
Teach
see
me.
that guy right there? He knows about cell phone technology. Let's bring him over here with us. See that guy right there? He's working with that biologist. She knows DNA. Let's get them over on our side. Let's learn how to do this. And if you're not, no matter how old you are, if you're not willing to understand technology, and that's really today, cell phone technology, Google, geographical mapping, that wasn't around in 2000.
No.
That was like hitting the pavement.
This Joker's modest though. He really brought the unit into technology. It was a caveman type of police department. He changed it. He revolutionized it with cell phone technology.
Though. I mean,
and I was straight out of high school. I literally got this job 2 years. I graduated from high school in 1983. 1985, I was with the Atlanta Police Department. So he had the world experience, and he brings a wealth of knowledge. He's high functioning. He should have probably left the police department 10 years before he left.
Almost to my detriment.
But he's always moving. The wheels are always turning.
Listen,
you know.
You ever seen a woman on a case? I'm talking about on her boyfriend case now.
Oh yeah.
The detective work that goes down with that.
Oh
You should tell women you should come to homicide. You
we-
got that natural instinct.
Listen, I'm good. All my friends be like, I need you to investigate this.
Hey.
And because I used to do investigation work for criminal and civil background checks.
Okay.
That was another job I had, and I would do it for Fulton County, Spalding County, Douglas, and Cobb.
Okay.
And Fulton was like the worst. No one wanted to go to Fulton because the cases
Never
that
stops.
are in Fulton,
Yeah.
oh my goodness.
Never stops.
Never stops. You know, you find yourself looking up everybody, you know, because, you know,
Yeah.
somebody, you got a case in Fulton County, you
Right,
know.
right,
so
right.
I laugh all the time because I have like this keen detective work. I miss my calling, maybe. I don't know.
Women have great intuition.
Great intuition,
Great
right?
intuition. You got to trust
You
that.
can call it out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I mean, but you don't see too many women as detectives.
We had a good group of women that were phenomenal detectives, you know, and again, like even in the interview room, like sometimes it takes a woman's touch to reach
Oh,
somebody.
so y'all send them in like,
It
yeah,
could be
do
another
that.
woman. It could be a woman. It
bring
could
in
be
a secretary.
It could be a woman who's
Really?
Yeah,
it-
like come in here and help us out. He needs a mama. Like we
Great.
had a
Sit
secretary
there and
that
talk
was
to
like
him. Give him 5 minutes of your time until we get in there.
Let him
And they
hug
talk
on
to
you.
them like, you know, your great auntie that's sitting down with you. You need anything, baby? Like, you need some water? You okay? And it just puts them at ease. We've had literally female detectives go into a room with a woman suspect or a woman witness. Let's say she knows where her boyfriend hid the gun that committed the murder, and we're trying to lean on her a little bit. And they go in there woman to woman. And it's just like magic. I'm like, looking at him like, damn, we can't. There's no way we could have done that.
Couldn't have pulled it off.
Listen, I done did some woman to woman. Like, listen, I'm coming to you as my woman to woman, and I'm
Right.
gonna cry, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna break you.
There
I
you
know
go.
I shouldn't be telling my stuff on TV,
See?
but anyway.
Next time you talk to somebody, you'll be like, I remember what you said.
Y'all can bring me in on this. This is our moment where we have our question of the day, and this is where we get to know you on a little bit more personal note, okay? Just to see what's in your mind, not about the homicide stuff. So I'm not gonna ask the question. You're gonna choose the question. So I'm gonna have you reach over here and pick a question out the box.
I'm the guinea pig.
Yeah, you're the guinea pig.
Okay. Let's see the one I can't. I'm gonna pick the question I couldn't see.
You couldn't see. All
couldn't
right,
see
there
it.
you go.
Let's see.
And you guys could use the same question.
Oh, what's a movie you can watch over and over that you wouldn't get tired of?
Okay, that's a good
wow.
one.
I'm gonna blow your mind on this one.
What's that?
To Kill a Mockingbird. Black and white
Really?
movie, Gregory Peck, way before his time, about a country lawyer defending a black man accused of a crime.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar. It was
Definitely.
a book made into a movie.
Of course, everybody had to read that in school.
Yeah, Atticus Finch was the name. It was the character's name. The attorney was Gregory Peck that played Atticus Finch. But that movie was before its time. It was a movie that was set in rural backwoods of, I'm not sure what city, in the early 50s or late 40s. And it was a black man wrongfully accused of committing a murder.
Yeah.
And this white country lawyer with a young daughter named Scout figured it out. And
She was a detective.
It was before his time.
Yeah.
I could watch that movie a million times.
Million times. How
Million
about
times.
you?
For me, hands down, it's got to be Shawshank Redemption. I don't.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I have some connection with these people that I've sent away for life. I mean, we've sent a lot of people away for life.
Yeah.
But it was never evil, you know. Like we would sit there at the table at the trial, and we would be testifying. And you give the person the head. You know, they give you acknowledgement that you did me right,
That's
even
right.
though I don't agree with the arrest, but you did me right. And so Shawshank Redemption, you know, I've always had this attraction to people that do time. Like, how do they do it? I had a lot of my cousins did a gangster amount of time. I watched them as I grew up. So for me, Shawshank, I can't walk past the TV if it's playing. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna give it at least an hour.
Yeah.
a good movie.
Do you guys find yourself watching a lot of, detective shows or movies and you say it's fake, or like do you have a lot of feedback on that? Like, oh, come on.
I mean, like
no way.
like the documentaries, not so much, but
Yeah.
like I want to see something like Seven with Morgan
yeah.
Freeman
Oh, yeah.
and Brad Pitt. That's a psychological thriller that has a crime element to it.
Yeah.
I like those psychological. You know, we've both had a couple serial killer cases in our career.
Yeah.
So those intrigue me. But like the run of the mill, shoot 'em up, like Bruce Willis stuff, I'm not really.
That's
half
not,
an hour now.
that's
you're
not.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
not
Stay away from
But
that.
The Wire now is 100%.
The Wire,
The
100%.
Wire. Homicide coming and going. They nailed it. They nailed it.
What about How to Get Away with Murder? What you got?
I never seen it either.
I'm not gonna lie. I watched that to catch myself. Like, hold up.
My wife was.
See, the problem with watching those real life, those true crime shows, documentaries, is I've tried and I find myself going, no, don't do that. Get out of the room or pick that up. You missed this. I'm just like, I just turn the TV off because I'm frustrated.
Of course.
So
I also find myself like diving into Lifetime movies. Now those are based on a true story most of the time, right? So you and It's a Woman's Thing. We sit there and watch the Lifetime.
My wife does that. Every
well, listen, let's plug our network. TV1 does a great job with Lifetime stories. Like they do true crime. Like woman marries the wrong guy. They have shows for My Man. So they do like real movies Fatal Attraction that are based on true life issues, true life drama where someone was murdered. Either he killed his wife or she killed her husband. And those are interesting because it's real stuff that we've seen. We've had plenty of cases where we've had to arrest the wife.
Of course, at the end of the day, biggest suspects, right? The spouse, right?
Always the first suspect.
Always the first.
Got to look at the spouse.
In a sad moment too, but hey. Air Force vet, right?
I am an Air Force vet.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. What else we got? You've been on Cold Case Files, America's Most Wanted, and Nancy Grace as well?
Yeah. We did a lot of stuff on TV back in the day where they needed like a talking head to talk about a current case.
Okay.
I even I think I was on Nancy Grace when Michael Jackson died. And the doctor was accused of giving him propofol, too much propofol, and I gave an opinion because LAPD was investigating. So, he and I, we live this. We know what we're looking at when we see these cases. And he's the same as I am. It's not about trying to be on TV. It's about trying to give him a different perspective because people are so used to, like we've had a bad rap in the last 5 years. When I say we, law enforcement. Some of it, but wait a minute, some of it, we got to say, is rightly deserved. There's some bad apples out there.
There's some bad apples, but that's everywhere.
There's more good apples. There's more good apples than the bad ones. So we try, if we get an opportunity to talk about that, hopefully when people walk away from it, they say, okay, these cats are a little bit different, and if they can change, because we had to change, then maybe some other detective seeing a show or segment will say, hey, you know what, maybe I'll do something different.
Got you. So TV1, ATL Homicide.
Absolutely.
4th season right now, okay?
Season 4.
How do you feel? Never thought about it, huh?
I'm blown away. When they first came to me and said they're gonna do a show about us two and our careers and put it on TV, I thought it would last a year. Like really? I think if we get one season in, because we had some stories, I never knew we would bounce back and just do 4 straight seasons. Right. TV1, our production company, Widenet Productions, Jupiter Entertainment, they all believed in us. And a lot of networks turned us down because you got a black and a brown brother talking about crime. That really had never been done before. You've had minorities, as by themselves, but not 2 minorities talking about real life issues. And what we do, which as I said before, was we open up our hearts to the families of our victims left behind. And I'm gonna tell you, the people that watch our show, they hit us up on social media as soon as they see a show and they see the relationships that we had with these families that were real.
Well, I thank you so much for joining us today, you guys,
it's our pleasure.
And sharing your stories and just being passionate about it. We need that. We need to see the real. So please let them know how we can keep up with your journey, where to follow ATL Homicide, Instagram, all that good stuff.
ATL Homicide is on TV1. Our new season starts August, what's that, Monday?
22nd.
August 22nd, Monday at 10 p.m. We got 20 episodes for 20 straight weeks. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. My name is the same on all 3. At Vince Velasquez, VELAZQUEZ.
I'm at David Quinn on all the platforms. 2 N's on Quinn, you'll find me.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I thank you guys for tuning in to the Midday with Shay McCray.